welcome back to the Forward Moves podcast, a place where we talk about all things marketing and operations for fitness businesses. I'm your host, Ash.
And I'm your co-host, Keira, and let's get into the episode of today.
Welcome. Welcome. Today is the first episode of the Kickstart series.
Yeah, which is a new style of series for everybody.
Yeah, so basically the secret would probably be out by now that we're doing like a systems accelerator program to kickstart your systems for 2025. And what we've done is we've collected feedback and questions from 4 specific areas. So we're going to be covering 4 different areas in the next 4 episodes. So today's operations, next week is going to be your ideal customer. The week after that is going to be your offers, and then the last week of the Kickstart series is going to be marketing. So it's really the 4 areas that we find are the pain problems for all of our customers. And we're going to be doing a little bit of a Kickstarter so you can feel really refreshed and strong coming into 2025.
Ready to kick off the new year.
Yeah. I can't believe it's 2025.
It's
I know
crazy.
I say this all the time, but I feel like we started 2024 a week ago.
Yeah, it has gone by so quickly.
Yeah. So basically for this episode, we've decided to make it a little bit more engaging, and we have questions in a bowl.
Yes.
Every year we do an audit of questions, feedback, changes, basically everything that we manage with our customers, just so that we're ahead of the game. So we've done that and we've put it into a bowl, and we're going to be answering questions for you all as we pull them out. So let's get into it.
Let's crack into it.
Cool. All right, number 1, what are some quick automations I can set up to save myself some time?
Ooh, that is a great question. It is something that people don't know a lot of. First of all, I would learn what Zapier is and get your head around about how it works. I know we've spoken about it on the pod previously, but that was ages ago.
I feel like that's a pretty advanced automation to learn straight up though.
But it will help with setting up some quick automations. Doing really small automations on Zapier is actually quite easy. You've just got to know what buttons to click, but it makes sense. But anyway, so things that I would set up to save yourself time is connecting your payment platform with your training app to invite and archive clients for you automatically when a subscription starts and ends.
Do all training apps allow that zap from
Pretty
the
much
purchase?
Yeah. So if you're using internal or external payment platforms, obviously internal will do it. So if you're using an external payment platform like Nui, pretty much all training apps you'll be able to set that zap up. The only one would be you need to pay for it if it's with Everfit. So you need to pay for the add-on in Everfit if you want to be able to set up zaps for external payment platforms. But the others all pretty much integrate into it. Some dependent on the payment structure that you're using for the training app. Like I know with HubFit, you have to be on the ultimate package to be able to utilize zaps. So yeah, there's a couple of things, but that's a great one.
Regarding what you've seen this year and the automations that we've had to do in BM, what do you think is one of the quickest automations that a coach should set up? I definitely think that you should be moving your payments to Nui. Nui's really grown on me this year as an automation platform. But even the welcome email via Nui, turning that on, turning your T's and C's on in Nui, when you turn your T's and C's on in Nui and turn your welcome email on, you don't need to follow up with any other emails or anything like that. It just removes 3 steps in one.
Yeah.
That has been a big game changer for a lot of our customers.
Absolutely, because then you're not on an extra platform for them. They're in the payment platform, they get the welcome email. Next thing they get communication from is the training app.
When it comes to automations, I feel like if you're using a platform like Easy Debit or a platform that does signatures on contracts, you're behind the game. You really need to move into the automated space, and Nui is an automated payment platform. So I definitely think that being a quicker automation, the amount of I find that one of the core problems with automation with the BM customers that we've dealt with is onboarding. Everyone really overcomplicates the onboarding process. Another way to really simplify automation is majority of our listeners are probably on Everfit because there's been a tidal wave of users go from different apps to Everfit, and we're going to answer these questions today. But simply copying and pasting your T's and C's into the onboarding form on Everfit and activating that auto flow.
Because they've got the signature field in the onboarding forms that you can put in.
The amount of
and the onboarding flow.
Customers we take on that don't have that auto flow set up and they don't know about it.
There is an onboarding flow in Everfit now. And if you have automations paid for, you can make different onboarding flows for different types of clients.
It's getting really advanced too, like the conditional. If you answer a question with a specific answer, they'll be added into a specific auto flow. So let's just say you have the way that this auto flow works. So let's just preface it. So say you pay via Nui, you would zap your Nui purchase into Everfit. It would add the customer. Then that customer automatically gets added to a flow with an onboarding form with your T's and C's in it. They get added to a community group, a program if you want. And then based on the answers in the onboarding form, they can be conditionally formatted if they're like training only or nutrition only or both into the allocated auto flow for them. So you've removed like 4 steps from the flow.
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't know if it changes the auto flow. You can only do conditional to community groups or programs. So it doesn't change the auto flow, but you can put the auto flow in the onboarding flow.
Yeah.
But, so you can do that. But
I would be looking into something like that.
Yeah.
Another thing as well, I find that there's a lot of resistance around social media and a lot of conversations happening in DMs. And I know the inquiry process, it's really important to talk to them, get on a call with them, automate your process like that.
Yeah.
And actually get on a call and sell them on the call.
Yeah.
That would be one of the biggest tips too. But honestly, don't send rewritten emails like, thank you so much, here's the form, rah, rah, rah. Have that sent through. Automatically afterwards, you can attach that on Calendly.
Yeah.
You can attach that in your training app.
Yeah. You can do so many things. Like even just like have an email scheduled to go out to them. Like, you know when the call's going to be. Yeah. And like if you've got your like packages and blah, 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 like whatever it is, like have it scheduled, ready to go. Like there's so many things that you can do. And setting up the automations in Calendly if that's what you're using.
Some other simple ones too, set up your auto replies on Instagram.
Yeah.
Because you can type in a word and it'll spit out a reply.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even using ManyChat.
I'm a big fan of ManyChat. I think there's so much fear mongering around AI and automations and rah, 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 rah. We're actually going to go over automations in the Systems Accelerator, and I'm going to actually teach you how to prompt ChatGPT to speak like you. So how to build that customer profile. So that's all going to be included. So everything from this 4-part series is going to be, well, the marketing won't, but everything from this 4-part series will play into the Systems Accelerator because we're going to be teaching you how to run your business more adequately when it comes to systems. But utilizing ManyChat, it's so good. When you think about it, what I like to say to people is, for example, when I'm looking to either get a massage or go get my hair done or, you know, my eyebrows or something like that, and I don't know where to go and I message a few places, it's the first person that responds to me that I'm going with. I'm not waiting for another response.
Yeah.
Because I'm not waiting 2 hours to get a response. You've lost my sale. So that's what ManyChat does. It talks to your customer for you and gets you that sale. You can't always be online.
Yeah, and then when you're free, you're able to then go and tailor the conversation from there because ManyChat can obviously only do so much, or at least it gets that like first reply out for you. Then at least like they know that you've like replied and touch point with them, and then you can go from there.
And I feel like a lot of coaches feel like that they can't automate their system because VAs in Australia cost $150 a week. Average.
Yeah.
And then ManyChat's $40 a month.
Yeah.
Like you're saving so much money by taking that manual labor out. And I feel like there's a lot of fear mongering around, well, it's automated. They're going to know, well, ManyChat's bought in timers. It won't send messages until 5 minutes later. And at some point your business needs to be automated. Like you need to run your business.
Yeah. And I feel like people are well aware that sometimes things are automated and they don't mind it being automated.
Yeah.
Like if they just want to ask a simple question, if you've set up ManyChat to give a reply with that key information, I'd be happy. I don't really care that it's an automated message if it's giving me the answer to what I want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think, I would definitely be looking at ManyChat and we will teach you how to set up in Systems
Yeah.
Accelerator. But definitely utilizing that in order to generate leads as well is a really good automation tool.
Yeah.
Going back to the old, comment this word and setting up an automation. Something else that you should definitely be utilizing is like an opt-in sequence to get some leads in. And the benefits of email marketing, we're going to touch on that in the Systems Accelerator as well. I'm going to call it the Kickstarter this whole way through.
I know.
But there are a couple of things that you should be automating.
Yeah. For sure.
And really like stripping back to the essentials. Where's your script? Save your templates, copy and paste your emails, like have everything set up like that.
Yeah.
So there are top basics.
Yeah. I feel like we've got to
I know, we
keep
need to
getting through
rein
these
it
otherwise.
in. Okay, one of the questions, this has been really common this year. Do I really need a CRM or can I get by without one? I'm a really big fan of CRMs. We're currently searching for a CRM that's suitable for coaches.
Yeah. I'd say like it's good to have, but we're really trying to find one that we think is actually going to be good.
So
We're struggling
customer
a bit.
relationships manager should probably mention that. So if you've ever purchased our client management spreadsheet, that's kind of what it's duplicating.
Yeah.
That. Spreadsheets are good. I will always back a spreadsheet. There's no point in paying for subscription if you don't need to.
it. Yeah. So you can get away with not having a CRM.
If you're a smaller coach under 100,000, for sure, even up to like 200,000, for sure, you could use a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
But I think having a CRM is good because it learns the customer behaviors. It interconnects everything. So it's really important to have. But there's just really limited ones on the market at the moment. There's nothing.
Yeah. Or it's just like covering so much that isn't needed in the fitness space.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's for like big companies and big businesses and what they're wanting to track. It just like isn't what coaches need to track.
Yeah. We just need a list of currents, payments, and check-in status.
Pretty much. Like we just need our spreadsheet in a platform.
I know. We've had this conversation before, but no.
Yeah. So short answer, you can get by without one. And if you do find a good one, let us know. But
you should know where your customers are in your business. And there is a way to optimize spreadsheets. So, for example, we had a spreadsheet we ran the entire business off it up until like a month ago.
Yeah.
And we just paid for John to do what we needed it to do and we zapped it. And then it tracked every entering, exiting customer within the business. So there are ways to do it. You've just got to take the effort out and actually do it in order to set it up. But if you don't know where your customers or leads are at in your business, you need to do something.
absolutely.
Because you're losing the magic is in the follow-up. And if you're not following up, you're losing business.
You'd be surprised how many people that we've even said to them in the build will be like, how do you track your leads? And they go, I don't.
You know,
and then literally like a couple weeks into their build, they're like, I followed somebody up and they signed up. And we're like,
yeah. Even on Instagram now, under your saved messages, you can tag them. You can actually tag who's a lead, who's a sale, who's a core book.
that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can actually tag them. And I find it funny because I work with a couple of clients post BM and I'm like, can you send me your customer management spreadsheet so I can check out your lifetime value? They're like, oh, I haven't used it. I'm like, okay, there needs to be something in the middle, or even a training app should just bring out a dashboard.
Yeah.
That's a simple CRM on the back end that you can track who's your current, who's your ex, have you done their check-in, have they paid this week?
Actually,
That's
I did
all
see
people need.
that training app that I sent you yesterday called like,
Oh, we found another one,
Fitly.
guys.
but I want to have a look at it because it did have some sort of a dashboard look, but I actually haven't like gone in and looked at it in depth, but it did have like this dashboardy look to it. So maybe I'll have to check it out. I have to actually have a look at it.
Another one.
Another one. I was like, oh no, it came up in my For You, obviously.
It's like they're targeting Kira.
Yeah. And I was like,
All right, this is a good one.
Okay.
What platforms are everyone raving about right now, and are they really worth the hype?
yeah.
We can put this into a couple categories.
Yeah.
So,
Training
website-wise,
Yeah.
Squarespace,
Absolutely.
worth the hype.
Yep.
Absolutely worth the hype.
Yeah, we really, I guess, I think we're going to talk about things that are like
Yeah, on the
going
way
out, so I won't
yeah.
compare it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Squarespace, so easy to edit, easy to manage
Yeah.
yourself. You don't need a developer.
For people that are looking to do like courses or business coaching, school's on the rise, and I really enjoy it. There's a guy that invested into it. Oh my God, if I don't get this name, Steve's going to be like, what? Hormozy. Alex Hormozy? Alex Hormozy. He's like a big entrepreneur guy. He invested into school. It's like a platform, a community platform. I actually really like it. It's quite cheap.
Yeah,
And
okay.
it's really, really good. It can lock people out from weeks and things like that.
That's pretty
But I
cool.
wouldn't be utilizing that if you're just a coach. I'd be using that if you're a business coach.
Yeah. And I think also Squarespace, if you are building out on that, that's got a course section in it as well. I don't know how good it is.
It just lacks. It's just
Yeah,
not the
okay.
best. Raving, worth the hype, Nui. I'm really enjoying it for
It's good.
especially individual coaches. I definitely think there's room for company improvement, but that's not their target market, so that's totally fine.
But also, I am a little bit annoyed that they're not compatible with Android.
Yeah.
That is a little bit annoying because we have coaches come through and I'm like, oh, Nui, and they're like, can't have it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's
Why don't they just get an iPhone?
yeah, they should actually
I don't
just
like
get an
Androids.
iPhone. No, I hate Androids.
It's like a Garmin
But
watch.
also, like, I feel like they're missing out on a. No,
I would
wouldn't
say
big
it'd have
demographic
to be
there.
expensive. Like,
Must
knowing
be.
us working with Apple, can you imagine what Android would be like?
Yeah,
Although
true.
Android,
I think they've been
a bit of a walk
easier
in the park.
Yeah, Android was easier with like app.
It must be something to do with like
The
UX
payments?
or UX or something.
Yeah, because I know like Nui is so big on like Apple Pay.
Well, yeah.
So I'm like, I wonder if it's hard to have both because rarely ever you go to pay and it's like Apple Pay or Google Pay. Like, does it just not come up because we have an Apple phone? I don't know, but that annoys me a little bit. And then also when they bring out their desktop version, it'll only be on Apples
Yeah.
and you can't have it on Windows. So
Yeah. They definitely know their target demographic. Though.
yeah, they do. And their marketing is pretty good.
Their marketing
They have
is
planes
so
all the time.
good.
Planes with like the banners, like being,
It's so good. I love it.
I was going to say driven around, but
We should get Niall on a call for marketing alone.
Yeah, that would
just to
actually
have
be
a
pretty
chat
cool.
to him. I definitely think Nui's worth the hype
yep.
for sure. Everfit worth the hype.
Yep.
I will say this again. I've been a customer on Everfit for over 2 years. I've had such a good experience as a customer. Kira sees the other side.
I actually have a little bit of a bone to pick with them at the moment. Someone just upgraded to advanced branding and you don't get to do your own app icon anymore. They took it out of advanced branding and it's out of this selection of like icons that you can switch it to and it's the same price for the advanced branding and now you can't upload your own icon for your app icon to switch over.
That's silly.
Yep.
That's such a big thing for coaches too. Like it's something that they really value.
Massive.
Actually, you know what? I actually have a little story time. Okay. So you know how we deal with this a lot. The grass is always greener. I want to go on that app. I want to go on that app. Stop. Stay on the one app for a second. I think this is actually a question. Maybe I should save it. Maybe I should just find the question. We'll answer it at the same time. 1 second. Give me a sec.
But no, Everfit is good and they're bringing in some really good features. But like, I don't know. I am not biased on any app. Like people think that I would be biased for a particular app and I absolutely am not. Like I have my own gripes with all of them.
Yeah. Well, no app is ever going to be perfect unless you build it yourself.
Exactly. So
Okay, I've got the two questions. All right. If other coaches on my coach are on a training app, does that mean I should be too? And I feel like that this ties into this question.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a story from last year. This time last year, what was the hype? Do you remember?
No.
Every single man
kahunas.
and their dog were jumping on kahunas.
Yeah.
And then they went like this, and then they went like this.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh, they had to shut down their Facebook group.
Because they were getting so many complaints, especially from the Australian market.
And then everyone went back to their old apps, and now the same thing's happening with Everfit.
yeah.
And I understand that your app probably isn't working to its fullest potential. And yes, if you are trying to band-aid an app problem, you're going to have more of an issue. We'll get to that in a second. But just because someone else is using a training app does not mean that you need to use it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many differences. There's like when we do the BM and someone is really dead set on Everfit, Kira will show them the back end. They're like, I don't like the programming.
yeah. Exactly.
And it's really dependent on what you need as a coach. And don't get me wrong, I Live, Laugh, Love Everfit, right? It's one of my favorite apps. It's pretty, it's aesthetically pleasing, it's great.
Yeah.
It is expensive.
Very expensive.
It is really expensive and everyone's on it, which is fine. But if you are so worried about being different in the industry, then stop following what other people are doing.
Yeah. And it is such a big thing that like they'll get on the Business Move chat with me and they'll say like, oh, which app should I go with? Which one's the best? I'm like, depends. What do you want? What do you like? How do you like to program? How do you like your check-ins to be done? How do you like it to appear on your dashboard? How do you like the notifications? Like there's so many things. I can't just give you one answer and you need to go and trial all parts of it.
Yeah.
And
that's
then,
why you should do the BM because we take all the hard work out.
And then I'll say, what are the pros? What are the cons?
Yeah.
What do you really want it to have? What do you not care if it has or not? And then I'll give you my best suggestions. And then I'll say, go use them. And then you have to work out which one or like what pros outweigh the cons for you.
Yeah.
So,
And you've got to spend a bit of time on it. Moving on to a training app is not a split-second decision.
No.
Your business relies on the app. You need to take at least 4 weeks to trial it.
Yeah.
And I find it really funny. I'm going to come back to the BM because in week 1, Kira and I have the operations call, and then we did the app build in week 7.
Yep.
And we find that a lot of the time our customers are like, can we have it in week 3? We're like, no, not happening.
I'm not doing it early.
Every single time. Every single build, week 5, I want to change apps.
Yeah,
every
the time.
single time. And it's funny because I understand it because people want their systems done early in the build. But we're like, no, like we know that you're going to change your mind. Every single build we have, they're like, oh, no, I'm going to change apps.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is why we waited till
That's
week
why
7.
I even have the call in like week 1.
Yeah.
Then in like week 5, I go, let us know of your training app choice.
Yeah.
And then people go, I think I want to swap. I've been trying out this one and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, this is why we wait. And then they'll be like, actually, I'm changing my payment system. Actually, I'm changing my app. Actually, I'm going to do this. And I'm like, and this is why we don't do it. Anyone that I've done it early for,
we've swapped it.
I've had to swap it after I've built
and
it out.
we get like so many comments, I wish I had it earlier. And we understand because when you start onboarding customers, you want your systems, right?
Yeah.
But if we do it earlier, not even that, payment system change, booking systems changes. For example, like Mia, everything has changed in week 6 for her because she didn't want to change anything and now she's changing everything. So it's like just, take your time with it. We understand that you need that 7 weeks to actually process that you need an app change.
Yeah. And then they always go, when do you need to know by? I'm like, I don't even want to know what you're thinking until at least 2-3 weeks down the track. I'm like, I don't want to hear about it actually. I want you to go and play, put a client on it, put yourself on it.
And something that we hear a lot is, all the coaches that are leading the industry or all the big coaches or XYZ are on this app and I feel like I should be on that because they're on that. And a couple of things I want to say on that. Number one, we work with a lot of coaches who are stuck on apps because they don't want to lose their data.
Yes.
And who are going to deal, like for a great example is Trainerize. There's a lot of bigger coaches on Trainerize. One, because their businesses are so big, they don't want to have to deal with the hassle of changing. But we can tell you right now, we hear it. Like we understand that they're putting Band-Aid solutions in place to fix all the things that the apps aren't doing in order to make them run more adequately. And they're spending double the amount of money on automations in the back end to make sure that everything runs smoothly because they've gotten to the point where they can't move that app. So although the people that you are looking up to in the industry are probably using that app, it's probably not because they absolutely love it. It's because they're stuck. Like they've got 5 staff members and 400 clients.
Yeah, and
to move.
And they've got the type of clients who someone has said to me before, like they've got a client that's been with them for like 4 years, but they're the type of client who wants to look back at their data and be like, what was I doing 4 years ago? And so if they moved them, they would actually be annoyed at like losing their data.
And the amount of discussions that we've had around, I'm really not liking this app, but I can't leave, so I'm going to pay an extra $200 a month to automate the rest of my service.
Yeah.
That's what we call a Band-Aid solution, and that's what you can avoid by fixing it early. But they didn't know any better because the industry's so young with training apps.
Yeah.
But just because you see someone on an app doesn't mean you need to be on it.
No.
I know for a fact that if I was a client and my coach put me on Trainerize, I'd be like, no, put me on a spreadsheet. I just can't deal with it. I think I've told you it's the yellow and the blue and like the Comic Sans font.
But if they have the advanced branding, like the font stays the same, but if they have the advanced branding, then it's their own colors.
It's also the thumbs up.
Oh, you don't
job.
like the achievement.
No.
You just want your corgis.
I want
and
my
your
little
Mudangs.
golden retrievers. But see, that's personal preference for me.
Yeah.
Because I work across all the apps, so obviously. But yeah, just because someone else is on the same app doesn't mean you can be.
Yeah.
And I want to put this out there as well. We get a lot of comments around, I want to build an app, or I want to be on the app that X is on. It's like, oh, you can't be.
Yeah.
Like all the apps, we get a lot of comments around like, I've seen the layout of like the Equolution app. I've seen the layout of EBT. I've seen the layout of like Move With Us. And it's like, oh no, like they've actual developed apps.
You need to go and pay to have it look like that. You can't
That's
have
not
that.
the next step for you. You need a step before that step.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what I'd say about that one. But platforms, everyone's raving about.
Or ManyChat. which we've already
ManyChat,
touched
worth
on.
it. I 100% think it's worth it. Automations of sales works.
Yeah.
And there's a big movement towards it because you need to understand your consumer. That's how they're going to start consuming from other businesses. So that's how they're going to start consuming from your business.
Yeah.
So highly recommend ManyChat, worth the rave. What are some things that aren't worth it? What are your thoughts on the Google Calendar? Calendly booking.
Yeah, so there's a Google schedule thing. And so it's free if you have a Google account, like a Gmail account. And it's pretty much, it looks really similar to Calendly, except I did learn that, so in Calendly, you can do like calendar availability for like days of the month if it's like super random. But in the Google scheduler, you can only do like set days onwards kind of thing.
I feel like that's why you pay the premium. This is why we talk about only use the apps for their specific functions.
Yeah. And like it is good, but like obviously if you just put in, oh, I'm available Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 till 5, and then you learn that you're not available that day, just block it out and people can't book into it. So like there's ways around it, like because it reads your calendar. So if you put in a booking, then people just can't book into it. So
that's true.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Typeform?
Honestly, I haven't even used it that much, but I think it's expensive, really expensive and overhyped for what you can do on other platforms.
Yeah.
Good things about it is their quizzes.
Yeah, but there's other platforms coming out now.
You can use other platforms for that. But yeah.
I have like people paying $70 a month for Typeform. I'm like,
what?
That is astronomical. That's diabolical to pay
crazy.
as a coach. For
AUD or USD?
AUD.
Oh, yeah, okay. A month
Diabolical,
for some
isn't
forms.
It? And Typeform, once you reach a capacity of the forms limit, it won't accept responses anymore.
That's crazy.
I think it's very overhyped.
Yeah, overhyped.
Right. Are domains necessary?
Okay, look. Domains. What's the question? Are they necessary?
Yeah, they're confusing.
They're confusing.
Let's start with this question. I have seen about 5 times this week in the chat, in our BM chat, because it's such a confusing concept. So let's break down what a domain is again.
Okay, we have done this before, but it was a while ago. So if you're new to listening to the pod, you may not have heard it before. I haven't explained it like this in a while. A domain is your URL. So our domain is... You just remembering the analogy?
In the air,
yeah. So let's relate this to a block of land.
Yeah.
So a block of land is your URL domain. Our block of land is forwardmoves.com.au. Then that's it. That's all your domain is.
That's a domain. So your domain is your internet ID, basically your business internet ID.
Yeah.
And ours is forwardmoves.com.au. That's our ID.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the website is the house, and you build the house out to make it look nice, but it's off in no man's land and it doesn't live anywhere.
Just flying in the air.
Just flying in the air. It's up in space. Yeah. And then when you put that house on your block of land, that's when you attach your domain to your house and say, this domain belongs to this house that I've built and designed. That's your domain. That's your website. 2 separate things. And then when you want to get a domain email, that's how you receive your letters, and that's your letterbox being put onto your block of land.
Yeah.
So then you purchase the domain email where you can put hello@forwardmoves.com.au or whatever you want to put. It doesn't even, I get so many questions about what should I put as my email. And I'm like, honestly, it can be whatever you want.
I have a theory on that.
What?
I think you should have two. You should have your name and then you should have an info one.
Yeah.
Or an accounts
It can be
one.
like accounty and then it could be like personal, which I mean, if you're a small coach, I would only be doing the one because you've got to pay for each one that you add on.
Yeah.
But so block of land, house, letterbox.
So your domain is your unique identifier online and then you attach things to it. So that's why your website is hosted. The domain shines a light on your website to say this is where it belongs.
This is where it lives.
And then your email is attached to that as well. So like nothing goes missing. It's your address online.
Yeah.
That's basically what your email is.
Yeah.
So is a domain needed? Yes.
Yes.
It actually is by law now.
It is by law if you are using an email marketing platform to send emails to your newsletter list. It actually will not send your emails from the email marketing platform if it doesn't have a domain email attached to the account.
I find there's a lot of confusion around this too because just a lot of questions we get like with the email marketing platform, does it send it from my email? Yes. So the email marketing platform is like a little portal that you send mass emails through rather than your direct inbox.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like just like the little attachment and then it mass sends and then it can when they respond to that mass email, it'll come through to your inbox.
Yes. Yeah. Straight
That's
to
the
your
best
inbox.
way. Is
Not
that the best way to explain it?
Yeah.
I reckon? Yeah.
I think so.
We've got Maddie in the
So
corner.
is it necessary? Yeah, it kind of is if you're wanting to use an email marketing platform. But also, like, is it necessary to just be sending general emails to clients and things like that? Not really, but it also looks a little bit unprofessional, in my opinion.
I don't, with emails, I think you can get away with that.
Yeah.
It's more if you have landing page or websites, you need to have a domain. And I know it doesn't seem like it, but look, you can have a landing page without a domain for sure, right? There's heaps of platforms that allow it. But your domain also holds your data online. So a really great example of this is like MA services and forward moves, right? The domains are connected. We have all the data from the MA days. So this means any searchability, any chance of finding you, any place on the internet, it allows you to be searchable and it can track your data. You also need that domain to track, different types of analytics when it comes to like page visits and stuff like that. Like you need to have it in the one spot. So if you're actually serious about growing your business, you will revisit this data in the future. Yeah. So it's a way to have your data tracked. And if you when you have a domain, it like verifies you. And I remember like when we swapped our domains over, my email wasn't getting delivered because it didn't have a high deliverability because we had no data before the transition. Yeah. So it's super important to have rather than just hosting a page without a domain.
Yeah. Also, I just feel like it looks, if somebody's had their website built out and you get onto it and it's like not their own domain URL, like for their actual website, I'm like, what the hell?
I mean, that, again, it's not something that matters to like, low hanging. Do you know what I mean? But as I said, if you're serious about your business growing, you will have that domain connected and make sure that you do connect it. It will really, really change things for you. Yeah. But that's all I'm going to say on that. I could go on that topic forever. Okay. What is the easiest way to find out what apps and subscriptions I don't really need? Write a list. Write a list. Tick if you use it. Cross if you don't. Delete if you don't.
Yeah.
Easy.
Easy peasy.
What are some subscriptions you see people have and you're like, why do you have that?
Sometimes I think people paying for Zoom, if they're only having client calls that don't even go for an hour, like sometimes I'm like, you don't really need a paid Zoom.
That's a good one. Video editing apps, I find.
Yeah.
I find that there's multiple subscriptions for different apps.
Yeah.
Like just pay for CapCut or something.
Yeah. Just pay for one that does majority of what you need it to do. And then I feel like you can get away with it like using Canva and stuff like that sometimes as well if you're already paying for that.
I think Canva is a definite platform you need to pay for.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's what, like $20 a month?
think it's a little bit more expensive now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything, but I do see double ups on a
platforms.
lot of subscriptions. Like it even comes down to, you know, we have customers using Square and then Stripe and then Easy Debit. You're paying fees for all of them. Pick one.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Because the
don't
fees
have different payment platforms.
Yeah. If you're don't bank transfer either.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I think a lot of it really comes down to what training app are you using. And then if you're, for example, using Everfit or HubFit, don't pay for Jotform. There's no point. But also it comes down to, are you paying for Zapier? Why?
Yeah.
There's so many platforms that integrate into it. So if you're paying for Zapier and you're using Google Forms, fair. If you're paying for Zapier but you use Jotform, why?
Yeah.
They're connected. You get it for free. So it's really hard to have a generalized answer to that one.
I would just honestly
sign up to the Systems Accelerator. We do an audit.
or start writing every time you see a bill come out of your account. Make sure you write it down. You know what platform it is, and then like so many people will be like, "Oh, I see that come out every month, but I don't even know what it's for."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
actually, you know, one that I find a little bit confusing: Linktree, paying for Linktree.
yeah,
Because I know it runs metrics and numbers and stuff like that. But if you're going to play for a platform, play for Comey.
yeah.
Comey's great.
Oh, that's one that's
Yeah.
upcoming. We
I
missed that
really
before.
like Comey. So
Comey's
Comey
really
is
pretty.
kind of the in-between of having a website and a link tree. So we're actually using Comey in the Business Moves Lite now.
Yeah.
And basically Comey is a way to have a website without having one in like a really aesthetic fashion, but it also promotes omnichannel presence. So with your Comey, you can link podcasts, you can link TikToks, you can link products, you can link heaps of things so like people can click on stuff and be taken to a different platform and watch you on there. And that's what you want. You want them to be consumed by you. Really enjoy it. And it's really pretty.
And the design's really
You can
nice.
check it out on our Instagram because we're on it.
Yeah.
Am I expecting too much from my platforms or am I just using the wrong ones? Lower the expectations.
You're expecting too much from your platforms.
I especially find this with email marketing. People get upset when it doesn't load fast. It's like no email marketing platform loads really
Do you know
fast.
how much it has to load every single page you click on? Like there's so much in it.
I wonder, is any e-commerce ones really slow as well? Some of them. Yeah. Nothing too crazy. They're also slow.
They're all pretty slow.
Also
So
slow.
you're probably expecting too much from them.
I can identify quite a lot of gaps in platforms at the moment that aren't being filled,
Yeah.
but there's nothing on the market. Yeah.
That we know of.
Training apps, yes. Lower your standards.
Yeah, it's not going to be able to do everything that you want. The only way to get it to do everything that you want is to build your own.
Yeah. And even then.
Yeah, even then it depends on the developers, I guess.
Yeah. I think definitely I think there's a lot of, when it comes to that question, it comes to the shortcuts that people want to make. So one shortcut I always see is once I finish the discovery call, I don't want to have to send that email. But I'm also a really big advocate of sending that email. I know I just really contradicted myself because earlier I didn't say that. That's the onboarding email. What I mean is, for example, on the Business Moves, if you do a consult with me, I'll personally email you. Yes, it's frustrating for me to have to do after every call, but it's a touch point because I can recap personally what we've gone through to show you that I care about the sale.
Yeah.
So I think it depends where you want to cut the corners. I really, truly do find, and this is going to be quite controversial, a lot of people get frustrated with training apps because they want to cut corners with their coaching. That's quite controversial. But I find it to be a thing. I find it to be, well, why doesn't my training app do this? It's like, well, that's your job to educate the client on that, not the training app's job.
Yeah.
And there's lots of instances
I agree
that
on that.
we have discussions about, we just see in the industry just as is as well. And it's not your training app's job to coach your clients. AI will get it there one day, but cut a corner in a different place. If you're trying to cut a corner on a training app around, for example, education is a really big one. Why don't training apps have like better education built into them? Like
People ask for that.
yeah, so like for example on Everfit, like drip fed content or things like that, you know. And it's like, okay, I understand you're trying to cut that corner, but why don't we try and cut a payment corner, or why don't we try and cut an automation corner or a sales corner?
Yeah.
And then you actually have time to do that with
So
your
you've
customer.
got the time to be able to do that.
Yeah. So it's cutting the wrong corners, I guess you could say. Why are people ditching platforms like Active Campaign? Should I be rethinking mine too?
Yes.
We just left Active Campaign. Active Campaign's a really good platform for service-based businesses. It's an email marketing platform. It's a very expensive platform. We were paying $250 a month for very limited features, and now we pay $350 a month for basically double the amount of features.
Yeah.
So it really depends on what your business is. As an online coach, this is why we live and breathe MailerLite. It's cheap, it's easy. Even platforms like MailChimp are $45 to $50 a month and nowhere near the ease of capabilities of MailerLite.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we recommend MailerLite.
Yeah.
We did the research into like the deliverability and the use of it. As a coach, you don't need a crazy platform to run your business. You just need a platform that's going to send emails, collect data.
Yeah. And that's all you
simple.
like. You don't need it to have like crazy data given back to you. Like, you just kind of need to know if people clicked on links or not, like, or if they opened it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
And that's
you
another
don't
thing.
need
People
anything
aren't.
crazy.
Oh, this is a really good one about email marketing. Some tips and tricks for y'all. One, your email is not going to go through their main inbox the first time you send them one.
Yeah.
That is the whole point. They have to find it. They have to unmark you as junk. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to get emails
And then
in
the
your main
more
account.
that people mark you not as junk, the better deliverability it will have in the long run. Like, you have to play the waiting game.
And two, people are not going to open your emails just like they don't read your posts. But your name is in their face. That's the whole point of marketing.
Yeah.
All right, last question for operations before we just jump into anything else that we've got.
Mm-hmm.
How can I cut costs down without messing up my workflow?
Ooh.
One.
Oh.
I would be saying look at the manual labor that you have and can you automate it anyway? Do you have a VA doing onboarding? Can you automate that onboarding and use them in a different area?
Yeah, or limit how much work they have to do your onboarding so that you can use them doing something else that's taking up more of your time.
I just had this with a customer. Actually, I can use the example. She really wants to outsource her content, looked at her budget, not really in it to out because content's expensive to outsource.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at what her VA was doing. Her VA was doing messages on Instagram. We signed her up to ManyChat. We duplicated all the scripts into ManyChat and now it's all automated. So now her VA actually makes content for her. So it's like critically think of the skill set of the people in your business.
Yeah.
As a solo might be a little bit difficult, but look at what you can and can't automate would be my biggest thing. And when it comes to cost, what kind of costs are you talking about? Is it your cost to service? Are you not charging enough? Do you have too many bills coming out? Do you have too high expectations for how early you are on in business? Like, realistically, the first year in, you shouldn't be running profit. You should just be getting by.
Yeah. Getting everything
There's
set
lots
up.
of different kinds of answers to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come through the BM, we'll answer it for you.
Just buy
BM
from
is
us.
business moves, by the way, in case we use BM too many times, you
feel
don't know what it
like
means.
We
but
talk about it so much that people will have to know.
Yeah.
Do you have any operations tips for 2025 to help people? My biggest tip, and we've spoken about this, check your training app.
Yeah.
Stop coming up with Band-Aid solutions for a shitty functioning app that you've been on for too long. You've spoken about this before, sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't continue going through something for so long just because you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are in the, and I always speak about this too, we are in the age of innovation in the fitness space. 2 years ago, spreadsheets were a hot topic.
Yeah.
You got on your app 2 years ago. That's not a hot topic anymore. They need to innovate as quick as the industry is innovating.
Actually, that's something around changing training apps, right? Like, so people are worried that they'll lose all of their clients' data. Hire a VA, get all their data transferred.
That's a really good one with ops. Go offshore. There's
Yeah.
actually some cracker VAs offshore.
There are some great VAs.
We've got a really good one. His name's Miraz.
Yeah, and you
If
can't
you've worked
have
with
him.
us, you would know. He's hired by so many coaches.
I know.
And that's one thing. With our membership drops, how do I brand them and upload them? Hi, Miraz.
Yeah.
Every month, on the first of every month, he messages all his clients. He goes, "Where's the drop for the month? I'll upload it for you."
Yeah.
And he uploads it for them.
That's so great.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And Miraz is like, what,
that.
$10 an hour?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
like, that's more than what?
Yeah. He asked me for a pay rise to $10 an hour. Bless his little soul.
I know.
But you have to vet your offshores to make sure that they're good. We've had a couple of really bad experiences. We're going through one at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Not great, but
it's just
okay.
one of those. In December, we've already lost 2 weeks. And so we're trying to fit 6 weeks of work into basically 2 weeks.
It's a lot.
And we had 15 brand ups to do in the BM, and we had to send it offshore, and then all of that went wrong. And
oh my God, it's been a slightly hot mess, but that's okay.
Getting there.
Other system tips for 2025?
My biggest operational tip is understand what your role is in the business.
Yeah.
I feel like we have so many coaches that, and I've been through this myself as a business owner, you want to turn into a business owner too quickly. So, you know, you get into business, you hire external help, super important, by the way, but don't outsource so much that you don't learn how your business runs. Like you need it. It's hard work. You need to be doing everything yourself for a very long time. It's only 4 months ago I relinquished content.
Yeah.
After 4 years.
True.
Like you've got to actually enjoy that grind and that hustle. So it's kind of reevaluate your role and look at it as, do you want to be the coach or do you want to be the business owner? You can't really be both at the same time. Like if you want to hire and scale, you can't have a full book of clients. The quality is not going to be there. You need to pick and choose what you want your role to be. So I would be reevaluating your role that year in 2025, writing down what you do, writing down what you want to outsource, and then thinking, how can you use people in your team? It can be a little bit hard to do. Like if you have a VA, what are they really skilled at? What can they take from you and you take from them?
Yeah.
In order to run the business better. Like a really good one, again, the customer I'm working with, her VA does all the notifications on Everfit.
Yeah.
She responds to auto notification and then she'll draw reports and say, there's a problem here. I think you should look at it. There's a problem here. That coach doesn't need to do that.
Yeah.
And then she's the one that posts in the community group on behalf of her. Coach doesn't need to do that because she wants to be a coach. That's where her passion lies. So she's outsourcing the areas that make her a better coach but won't take away from her actually doing the program.
Yeah, love that.
So you should be looking at how to develop your roles this year.
Yeah, I think that's really
and
good.
Getting on the AI train.
I feel like any other ones that I can think of we've already spoken about. So I don't really want to sound like a broken record, but...
Yeah, basically all of these are kind of frequently asked and lessons that we've found this year.
Yeah.
The industry's rapidly changed from the start of the year. The amount of times that we've changed the way that our systems run this year has been wild.
Yeah.
Every time we get on top of a system, it's like, oh, they've changed it.
Yeah,
like,
they've changed it. Okay, cool. Great. Love that for us.
So yeah, just trying to stay on top of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Operationally, just listen to our podcast and you'll stay on top of it.
Or sign up to our 6-week systems Kickstarter program, Accelerator program.
Yeah.
Now you've got Kickstarter in my head.
I know. The Systems Accelerator program.
And we'll pretty much go through everything that we've spoken about today.
Yeah. You'll either get assigned to me or Kira.
Yes.
Have a weekly check-in.
Yeah.
Have a business audit where we pull everything apart.
Do you know what will be interesting coming through that program is like, I wonder if it'll be like, people like, oh, I got Ash. And they like wanted me.
I worry about that.
I worry about that too. I wonder if we could be like, is there anyone you prefer?
We could do a preference form and be like, it's like Kira gets everyone. I'm like, fine.
Yeah, no, if no one picked me, I'd be like, okay, fine.
Maybe we can put Ash operations, Kira training apps, like
systems. Or be like,
on their
don't
problems.
mind. Like,
yeah.
Maybe we'll have to do that, but like, obviously.
Maybe we should do it for our ego.
But what if my ego gets hurt? It's big, but it's fragile.
Well, either way, like on the back end, Kira and I talk about everything anyway. So you'll probably get both of us at one point.
Yeah. If there's something that comes across my side of the pond, then I'll be
especially with the check-in in week 6 around training apps, I'm going to be like, Kira, you need to like.
It's going to be a big week.
Well, I can definitely do it, but you're better skilled in it. Whereas in week 3 for social media, you're probably going to be like, Ash,
I need help.
Help me. So like, you might get a little crossover at one point.
But it'll be like your main point of contact kind of thing.
Yeah. So very excited for it. Pre-reg would have already started by this
I think
episode.
so, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's on sale with limited spots.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's so exciting.
I know. And we've got training apps on it now.
Yep.
Where everything's all
so
ready
excited.
to go. Yeah.
It feels so cool to have them like all locked in for like their calls and everything.
I know.
Yep.
It's like, and you know what's really funny now that like we've kind of made that connection with them, every like week we get, hey guys, this is the new update on the app.
Yeah.
Make sure to talk about it in your podcast. And we're like, okay.
Special. Can you please mention it, or like if you can, if you're doing an app about it, like that's pretty cool.
It's
but
like
that was a cool update.
I feel like Trainer Us is listening in on this episode like
Cancel call. Be like, no, sell it to us while it's still good.
well, look, people love them.
Yeah.
Everyone just has
There is
personal
parts about it that are really
Yeah.
good. They're just a little bit blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get forms and resources and then we'll preach you.
Happy days.
We'll
Happy days.
preach you to the world.
Yeah, exactly. But we
Anyways.
should wrap this.
Definitely. So this is the first episode, operations. Next week is going to be a little bit more engaging. There's going to be an activity that you're going to follow along with us.
Get your pen and paper ready.
So next episode is about building your customer profile. No, you've probably heard it like a broken record, but we're going to go through it because although you might think you know the customer, you should always redo it. We do this as an activity probably 3 times a year. Actually, my advisor said, who was your ideal customer for the membership? And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, I actually don't know.
Yeah, true.
Because we know our customers so well, you don't actually think about knowing. She was like, no, we need to know exactly who they are and their problems. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, I actually don't know.
That's so funny because it's like, of course we need to know, but with
It's like everyone, we all know our ideal customers so well, but you look past it. And if you look past the problems of your ideal customer, that's when you lose them. Then we did the activity and then we started rolling again. Like we kind of had a bit of a moment, but we're back. So it's good to do a couple times a year.
Yeah, for sure. Because your ideal customer changes and where you are in life as well. So this is going to be a really good activity. And
Well, we talked about that in last week's episode. Is Brett going to be before this episode?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we talked about it in Brett's episode.
We have our own Jamie now, guys, by the way, and referencing that to
What?
Joe Rogan's podcast.
I've
They're like,
never
pull it up,
listened to it.
Jamie.
I've never listened to
So
it.
Jamie's like the background guy that like will pull things up on like the screens, and like they'll ask a question. If they don't know the answer, he'll like search it up and all of that sort of stuff. Or if you listen to Hamish and Andy, like Jack does that, or Podcast Mike does
You
that.
listen to way too many podcasts.
Well, now we've got Maddie that is here on our podcast days. And so if you ever hear like awkward pauses where we're asking a question, it's normally we're looking at Maddie to answer.
Do you know what's really funny? The Spotify Wrap came out last week and our podcast was top 2 for me.
I love that.
Because I listen to it when it goes live. I'm like, I need to make sure I don't sound stupid.
Yeah. Bit late. It's already out then.
Already listened to it 4 times. Well, Kira doesn't listen to any of the podcasts until they go live.
I know.
So she can rack the views up.
That is not why. I just like don't want to listen to it like 4 times. I love myself
So
that
I have
much.
to do it.
But
all
yeah,
right.
I think next week's episode will be really good. And even if you think you know your ideal customer, you won't know it in this much depth. And
But make sure to be sat.
yeah,
Have a pen, paper.
If you don't have pen and paper, go buy pen and paper.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you for
But yeah,
listening.
thank you so much. And we will see you next week for your ideal customer.
Bye.
Bye.